I appreciate you. I appreciate you for many of your votes. One time, one of these magazines paired the Democrat who voted most with the Republican, and I was with you. So you don't have to run for re-election, so I can make it more public now.
I'll have to work on that.
Yeah, thank you. I was honored, though. Thank you and Mr. Larson for holding this hearing. The emergent drone industry is going to make a big difference in our country, and it's imperative we set the framework right. We've also got to pass the FAA authorization before the September 30th deadline. That's the big work of our committee. As a matter of health and safety, I urge the Senate to adopt the SEED Act provision included in House bill that was passed, H.R. 4. The U.S. Court of Appeals found that the FAA's justification to not review the safety risks of more cramped passengers as vaporous. And now the Inspector General is auditing the FAA for its failure to take the issue seriously. There is a safety and a health problem with the size of seats, the pitch of seats, and all of that, and the FAA needs to do its duty and make sure people can evacuate airplanes in the required time. We need to pass a long-time FAA authorization and include the SEED Act that was passed unanimously by this committee and overwhelmingly by the full House. In May of this year, Memphis was one of 10 areas selected out of 150 applicants to participate in the Department of Transportation's Drone Integration Pilot Program, and I was honored to be at the announcement. According to the Department of Transportation, the potential economic benefit of drone integration into the national airspace will be upwards of $82 billion and create up to 100,000 new jobs. Big news for Memphis and the nation. In Memphis, some of these airspace integration demonstrations include airport, runway, and aircraft inspections, perimeter surveillance and geofencing, medical device and consumer package delivery, and environmental protection efforts such as coastline erosion detection. The Airport Authority is partnering with industry giants like FedEx, General Electric, Intel, and others. Just this past Thursday, 901 Drones, FedEx, the Memphis Fire Department, and others included officials visiting Memphis from the FAA successfully completed a demonstration of important perimeter geofencing safety measures to keep drones from flying into the designated zones and critical safety redundancies to keep the public safety and airport operations unaffected. Drones have boundless real-world applications, and Memphis is now at the center of this rapidly growing industry. It's important we get the policy framework right. It has to be absolutely, positively right, as FedEx would say. First question is for Director Yak. The University of Memphis is a close partner in the Memphis Drone Program and brought to light an insightful concern. The role of local municipalities is not mentioned in the hearing summary of subject matter. It seems clear that local municipalities will play a large role in future airspace integration efforts. While programs such as the FAA's Integration Pilot Program go a long way toward helping that develop, does the FAA have any plans to work with Congress or request Congress to help communities develop the necessary infrastructure that will allow potential benefit of drones to be realized?
I was checking with Jay because I thought that actually fell into his arena. The FAA is, I think the DOT and FAA, as you can see by the establishment of the integration pilot project, is understanding and seeing that there's a wild world out there. Wide, not wild. And what I mean by that is whenever you take technology, regulation, particularly from a safety perspective, you need to look at it from a societal perspective too. What is the impact on society? What is allowed, and what should the rules be? We are progressing in a number of partnerships with industry as well as with the local governments and that to be able to understand this world that we're entering in. From a research perspective, we got the technology down. We're looking at that. We're looking at that with our partners. We're looking at that and how to better regulate. But it's the IPPs and the working with the local governments and the tribal communities to understand the use and then what are the ways to enable this technology in their area.
I would just add to that, just as we do it with manned aviation today, we actively work with our local communities when we're planning new airspace utilization projects. And so we would expect that to continue and as you pointed out, the IPP is critical to opening those relationships with the local communities around drones and identifying the issues that are of concern to them and working with them. And we fully expect the research and the actions coming out of the IPP to inform how we adapt and evolve to the future for the drones.
Thank you. And I think my time's about up, and I came late, so maybe I'm taking a little risk. But Dr. Prevost, I understand you talked about Uber doing Uber Eats by drone.
That's correct.
How does, you know, about 30 years ago, I was in the state senate, and somebody showed me a phone. Of course, it was like this. It was gigantic. And he said, we're going to have, like Dick Tracy, we're all going to have phones. And I said, you're crazy. Well, I was wrong.
Yep.
So Uber Eats by drone is just, I mean, does the drone go to the restaurant and then kind of knock on the door? And how does it get in? I mean, the rendezvous's downstairs. Mm-hmm. How does the drone get downstairs to get my ribs?
To your balcony.
We're experimenting with different ConOps there that can involve our couriers as well in the process, because, I mean, we already have a food delivery business, and so the drone may also only take a portion of take the food from our courier to another courier, potentially on the other side. Or we can have fixed infrastructure. Part of our integration pilot program is experimenting with different ConOps and seeing what works best. But the main idea is, yes, you push a button and you get your burger or sandwich a little bit faster.
Well, I'm all for it. I use Uber Eats, and it's great. I just can't imagine some drone going into the future. Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman